Hey everyone, this is Donald the Repentless, and welcome to a new segment called Angry News Rant. Um, I saw the latest story on the Charles Kinsey shooting in Miami, and I was rather disturbed. As someone who's known autistic people and who may well be on the autistic spectrum himself, I'm very disturbed by the article that came out in which the officer involved in the shooting and someone named, I'm going to look at the article real quick because I don't remember off the top of my head, John Rivera, president of the Dade County Benevolent Association, came out and said, oh, the officer wasn't shooting at the black guy. He was shooting at the autistic guy holding the toy truck. In what world does that explanation make anything better? Oh yeah, I wasn't racist. I was just incompetent. Give me a break. I mean, this guy was on the SWAT team for 4 years. How did he get on the SWAT team when he's that piss poor of a shot? I mean, aren't the police at least required to take an eye exam? And at one point in time, I don't know if it is anymore, at one point in time, the police force had in their car a thing called binoculars. They could have assessed the situation. They could have at least tried to get a closer look at what was going on. And if they had, they would have seen clearly, like it was in the video, that this guy wasn't holding a gun. And from his behavior, the way he was turning around, the way he was acting, any competent human being could have seen clearly that there was something wrong with this guy, that he had some kind of mental impairment. But no, the police force motto now isn't to protect and serve, it's shoot first and ask questions later. This could have been far worse. I mean, if this officer was better with his gun and had a better shot than Barney Fife, it would be a headline of cop shoots autistic kid or cop kills black guy. Well, he wasn't shooting for the black guy. It would have been cop kills autistic guy. Which, like I said, is someone who might have autism and someone who's known someone with, I've known at least one person, probably more, that's had autism. I'm disturbed. It's not, people, and the article talks about this, the racial tension. It's not just black people who don't trust the police anymore. I don't trust the police now because, I may be quote unquote high functioning, but if I have to deal with the police, which is why I don't leave home. I don't do anything illegal. I don't do anything that's going to get me in trouble with the law because now that police have this mentality of shoot first, who knows what might happen if I did have an interaction with the police, or at least an unfavorable encounter with the police. All of my encounters with the police, I usually call them. Okay, I have dealt with police usually because of noise complaints or someone stealing from me or that kind of thing. So I've had generally positive interactions with police. But now, like I said, these are just trigger happy. I don't know if even a majority are, but it seems that the police are more trigger happy than they used to be. I remember a time, I'm old enough to remember a time when police would have handled this situation completely different and without a single shot fired. But now it seems that almost conditioned to fire. You know, I don't agree with Black Lives Matter. I think that they got a bunch of members who are just out there crazy. But yeah, there are problems in the police force that need to be corrected. And what are we going to do about them? I mean, what kind of training are these people getting? I mean, this guy was on a SWAT team. Police should be able to calmly, they should be the calm people in this situation. They should be the ones that are, you know, as calmly as possible. I know sometimes it's a matter of moments or seconds in which they have to react, but this guy wasn't, even from the angle, even if it was closer, it is clear that he wasn't an immediate threat. Unless, of course, the police in Miami's ideal of an immediate threat is completely different. And yeah, they're talking about Monday morning quarterbacking. The problem is, in a case with the police and shooting, usually when someone Monday quarterbacks the police, there's usually a dead body involved. Usually shot by the police, sometimes police shot by a perpetrator. But in this scenario, the officer involved should have taken just a second to think. The police or whatever should have just taken a second to think. What? They're not supposed to think anymore? It's crazy. But anyways, I'm going to put a link to the story I'm talking about in the description. I mean, it's just getting weird out there as time goes on, and I don't know what the solution is. I just don't know anymore. But if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. I don't care. These are my thoughts. I mean, my picture of, before I close, I may redo the outro, but my opinion of the police has changed a lot recently. When I was a kid, the cops were people that you could look up to. You know, even if there was corruption in the ranks, those were things that you didn't hear about very often. You didn't hear about cops shooting people very often. It may have happened. It may have happened as much as it does now. But the picture of the police in the media was always positive. Now we have all these sensational stories about police messing up, and people are getting nervous. People are starting to worry about, if I get pulled over, if I do what they say. Like, for example, I can't remember his name, Belandro? The guy in Minnesota or Wisconsin who was shot after he divulged that he had a gun, a legally obtained, licensed gun. One story I've heard, this may just be the girlfriend's story, I don't know, but he was told by the police to show them his ID, his driver's license. And when he reached for his wallet, the cop shot him. That may not be the accurate story, I don't know. I don't think I haven't seen any stories yet from the police perspective on that. But, let's go back even to the 50s. When the television depiction of cops were, police squad. Anyways, Joe Friday, Andy Griffith, to what we see today whatever cop shows out there. I don't pay attention to those shows, but just how much the image of the police has changed in the public eye through the sensational stories of the news media and through their own actions. I covered the story the other day about the Wichita Black Lives Matter having the cookout with the police. And I said then, and I'll say it again, this is the kind of thing we need to hear more of. But it's not sensational, so you're not going to hear about that kind of thing very often. Because news is no longer about just reporting the facts. It's about sensationalizing the events and the story to get ratings. What was that movie? There was a movie a long time ago. I can't remember it. It's where the guy said, "Damn it, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore." If you remember, put the name of the movie in the comments below. But it seems that it's getting worse. Something fundamentally has to change in the way that cops are trained. At one point in time, the police were disciplined. They had the judgment that they could, in most cases, deal with a situation without shooting. Of course, there was cases where they had to shoot, but that was usually the last resort. Now it seems as if shooting is usually the first resort. It's the first thing they go to, whether it be with a taser or whether it would be with their guns. Because in this case, like I said, you see the video, you don't even see the cops, they're that far away. Even if they were afraid that this Kinsey guy might have got hurt, at least try to get a closer look. I mean, I said it before, don't they have binoculars anymore? I mean, binoculars aren't expensive things. Well, you can get a pair of binoculars fairly cheaply. But no, these days, instead of getting like something where they can get a close look from a far range, they'd rather buy the AR-15s or whatever, tanks, riot gear, and make the police more like the military than has ever been in our history, than to invest in some investigative tools that could be used to assess situations and resolve them without the need for the use of violence or force. I'm still kind of mad about this. I think, and the reasoning given by the officer is just maddening. It's not rational. And if the Miami Police Force and the Benevolence Association thinks that this explanation makes anything better, they're dead wrong. It makes them look worse. And they don't even have the self-awareness to realize that when they put these statements out there. Or they put that statement out there. It's just, like I said, maddening that we live in a country that we have police that have that severe a lack of discipline. That lack of insight, if you will, to take a look. It doesn't take very long to take a pair of binoculars and just go like this and look at what he's holding in his hand. If they had done that, if they had taken any time whatsoever they would have seen it was a fire truck and not a gun. That's all I have to say. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Share it on social media. Comment below. And subscribe for more repentless content. This is Don the Repentless, signing off.